Hi, this is Aaron Hickman from the Retro Obscura podcast, and you're listening to Two Dudes and a NES.
Hey, Justin.
What's up, man?
How much? How's it been? It's been a while.
Yeah, I've been pretty good. Well, it's like,
This is terrible. You guys are so out of shape, and you really... I can't believe this. I thought I was coming to a championship podcast, and I've come to a bunch of slackers who say and they say and they swear a lot.
You know, like we're talking about like Mike Tyson, and like he's
Quit
like
with the ums, quit with the uhs, quit with the swearing. I'm going to go jump on my bike and ride down in front of the Statue of Liberty, and I want you guys in sweatsuits running behind me.
well, you know, terrible. I guess we'll try harder, John. We'll try harder.
Try harder. Well, you need to join the Nintendo fan club.
Hey, Justin.
What's up, Mike?
Not much. It's been a while.
You like how I called you Mike for this show?
That's okay for this show. For this show,
right? Exactly.
Why is it all right?
I don't know.
Why is it okay?
Because we're doing Mike Tyson's PunchOut for finally for our listeners who have requested it repetitively. We have a guy in
John.
Huh? John is here.
Hi. I'm on this podcast mainly because I wrote an article about PunchOut. I think that's the only reason I've been invited on here.
Probably. And it was a good article. So.
Oh, thank you. But PunchOut, I don't know about you guys, PunchOut was one of my absolute favorite NES games. And judging by the feedback you guys said you got, it sounds like a lot of listeners' favorites as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. I think that's a true statement. So let's just kick into the show because I got a feeling it's going to go for a long time if we don't keep this moving at a nice clip because we got lots to say about this. So Justin, do you have a history for us?
I do.
Justin's historical tidbits and trivia.
So Mike Tyson's PunchOut was released in 1987. And what this was, it was a release from the Nintendo Entertainment System, but it was kind of a port of both PunchOut and Super PunchOut, the arcade games, mostly the latter versions. And, of course, our good friend Mario made his appearance as the referee. Although somebody pointed out, and we'll talk about this again in feedback, that I never really thought about it, but on the cover, Mario looks a little different.
Yeah. Hey, you know, I heard, not to jump in here, but I heard a story, I don't know if it's true or not, that Mario was put in the game as a filler and not on accident, but as kind of a joke and just kind of as somebody to put in there while they finished the game.
Mm-hmm. And
then it made it all the way through testing and nobody ever said anything, so Mario ended up in the game.
Huh.
It wasn't necessarily intentional. That was just
cool.
something I heard. I don't know if that's true or not.
And really quickly, if we're talking about Mario as a ref, can we talk about the fact that his counting is not very smooth?
We'll get into that. We'll get into that in the gameplay.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's not fair. No, it's not fair.
Mm-hmm. So this game, PunchOut, was developed by Nintendo R&D 3, and the main designers were Jinyo Takeda and Makoto Wada. One of the more
I think
Japanese.
You're a lot of practice on the Japanese too, I think.
Well, what are you gonna do? Well, the probably one of the more famous things what people enjoy about this game the most is the music in the game, especially the training montage music. And those composers, just more Japanese names for me to butcher here. Yukio Kanioka, Akito Nakatsuka, and my favorite, Kenji Yamamoto. I like Kenji Yamamoto, mainly because I could say it. But
was he the one who did the music for some of the other NES games?
Yes and no. He didn't do as many NES games as he did Super Nintendo games. He did Super Metroid. He did, and then even later on with the Metroid Fusion, Metroid Prime, did a lot of the Metroid games later on, not any really for the NES. So, but one of the most interesting things about the history of this game, I think, was Mike Tyson was in it, and then he wasn't. And the story behind that was Tyson was in the original release of the game. So first of all, I don't know, do you guys ever heard of the gold version of this game?
I have not.
I've heard of a Famicom gold cart.
Yeah, it's what this is. Yeah, it's the Famicom gold cart. So Mike Tyson's PunchOut was before it was released as a gold cartridge in Japan, without Mike Tyson in it. It had Super Macho Man as the final boxer, and who was also the final boxer of the Super PunchOut arcade game. So they sold it, and it was rewarded as a prize for the Golf US Course Famicom tournament. The interesting thing about this was the Japanese version did not include Mike Tyson. I guess they just didn't think Mike Tyson was famous enough in Japan to sell, so they just sold it as PunchOut over there with Super Macho Man as the final boss.
Well, Mike Tyson hadn't won a championship yet. Yeah. He was still kind of an up-and-comer when the game came out.
Well, when it came out in North America and sold so well, Japan, they actually had, and it wasn't selling well in Japan, they actually put him in the game later on in Japan. So I thought that was pretty interesting. It was originally released without Mike Tyson. Later put him in Japan because it was selling so well in America. And Mike Tyson became more of a world name. Now, Japan is so Mike Tyson came, the game was selling pretty well, and in 1990, his contract was up with Nintendo to sign again to be the name of the game. The interesting thing that happened also was with Tyson in 1990. Do you guys know what happened to Tyson in 1990?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we touched on it a little bit last show. Is this what you're talking about?
No. Actually, something different.
Oh, okay.
A little something different.
He won the championship.
Well, it actually happened in '89. Sorry. No, 1990. It was 90. It was February 11th, 1990. Sorry.
Okay, so I was right. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he lost to Buster Douglas. So he lost to Buster Douglas, coincidentally not, in Japan, in Tokyo.
It was Tokyo.
Yeah. This after Tyson suffered his first loss, Nintendo decided we're going to cut our losses here, no pun intended, and just release the game without him. And
that's kind of harsh.
Yeah.
Oh, you lost once? Well, don't want you around anymore.
To me though, I think maybe that was their excuse for not paying him any more money. It's just maybe I don't see them course, Tyson's reputation kind of went downhill after that. It actually ended up being a good idea for Nintendo to get rid of Mike Tyson, because shortly after that, he was convicted of something that we talked about pretty in detail in the last game we talked about, which was Mike Tyson was convicted charged with rape. And at that point, obviously, it was good that Nintendo didn't re-sign him.
Yeah.
So anyway, but after he was taken out, he was replaced by a guy named Mr. Dream in the game. A lot of people probably own the Mr. Dream version as well, because it was the later version. So, as far as reception of this game, it's one of the most loved, obviously, by our listeners, but also one of the most loved games in the NES's history. GameSpot reader poll ranked it as the 6th greatest NES game. It was rated the 17th best by Nintendo Power's top 200 games, and has continued to just get great reviews. GameSpot rated it an 8 out of 10. I think that's a little low, in my opinion. So we'll talk about that later.
Really quick, why do you guys think it's so popular? Very excited. I have a theory, but I'm curious what you guys think. Why do you think PunchOut was so popular?
My theory is it was just a boxing game, and it made sense. It was kind of one of the early fighting games where you went through serially. That's just my theory. I don't have a really good theory on that.
I don't really have a theory either, but I would say that rhythm games are very popular no matter what generation you're in, and I think this is just a really awesome way to do a rhythm game.
Okay. So my theory is that it's a lot like Batman, in that the enemies.
Batman?
The enemies of Batman are always the coolest part of Batman. It's not really Batman himself. It's the rogues gallery, the bad guys that he's facing.
I agree with that.
So I feel like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out had some of the best villains in the game, the other boxers, and they were cartoony. You felt like each of them was unique, and it was a lot of interesting stuff to talk about for each boxer that you faced.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, when we get into the game itself, I plan on going through every single one of them because I think that's worth our time to talk about every single one of them.
They're interesting enough that we could.
Yeah, so we will whenever we get there.
It's not like Mario where a Goomba and a turtle and plant thing aren't that interesting.
Okay, well, that pretty much wraps it up with history. Mike, you put on Facebook that you own this game, so just gonna let you take it over from there.
Michael's quest to find the cart.
Okay, well, my quest for the cart includes like 4 different cartridges, maybe 5 different cartridges of this game over the years.
Oh boy!
When I was a kid, I had Mr. Dream Punch-Out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my parents bought it for me. I had that game just in your typical fashion, right? But then also the neighbor kid, who I've talked about before, and I just refer to as the neighbor kid, he had the Mike Tyson's version of Punch-Out. And like I've said before, at one point we either traded games or he got rid of his Nintendo games and gave them all to me. So then I got both. I had to one copy of each, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then, later on in life, I lost them or something, and then bought another one just because I wanted to play it. Like in college, when you and I were playing, I think I bought another one. So there's like 3. And then once like a year or 2 ago, when I started collecting games again, like hardcore collecting games, I said, you know what? I want a complete in-box copy of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out because I love it so much. And it's a pretty popular game, so there's a lot of copies out there. It's not like it was going to cost me an arm and a leg, so I searched out a complete in-box copy of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
And I see that you have all of your arms and legs, so
I still have all of my arms and legs. I think I have both my ears.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yep. Still got both my ears. So, so I got a complete in-box copy. And then, finally, another copy that I got was when I was trying to get a Power Punch 2 to play for our show. For our last show, I was trying to get a copy of Power Punch 2. And when I ordered the Power Punch 2 from the guy, he sent me a copy of PunchOut on accident. Or I think it was on accident.
I don't know.
It may have been on purpose.
I think he was like, this guy doesn't know what he's getting into. I'm just going to send him PunchOut.
Make it easier for him.
So I basically ended up with about 4 or 5 different copies of PunchOut over the years. But now I've narrowed it down to I have one complete in-box copy of Mike Tyson's PunchOut, and I have one Mr. Dream PunchOut. So that's all I have now.
So
I've quested for this card maybe more than any other.
Awesome. Well, let's dive into the game.
I have it on my phone.
Let's dive into it. Mm-hmm.
John has it on his phone. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I have it on my phone.
Yeah,
that's cool. Hey,
you know,
anywhere? I forgot that I also have it on the 3DS. I bought it from the eShop on the 3DS, so I have that copy too.
Yeah, and you can play it online too. If anybody does that.
If you're a dirty cheater.
Hey,
just kidding.
No idea what you're talking about.
The thing about online emulators like that. First of all, sometimes the controls are a little wonky, but to have access to pretty much, there's one website that has pretty much every NES game ever. To have access to that is pretty nice.
We're being recorded live by Google.
Do what?
Yeah, which we're not going to mention the website's name because...
No, of course not. I'm just going to refer to it as a place to go.
The Google hounds will come and get us.
They will.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's talk about the game. Want to talk about the game?
The game discussion.
Let's do it.
Yep.
Hey, let's do... I prepared a little something that I like to call a quiz.
Oh, boy.
Oh, jeez.
Embarrass us.
All it is the Punch-Out quotations quiz. I'm going to give you a quote from one of the boxers in the game, and you guys have to tell me which boxer it was. No, this isn't Jeopardy style. This is just give me the name of the boxer who said the quote. All right?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Simple enough?
Sounds good.
Vodka drinking.
Okay.
Yes.
That you gotta wait for the quote.
Okay.
Before you answer. Okay, the first one is, I have purred long enough. Now hear me roar.
That's a great tiger.
Yep.
Nope, that was actually Eric Purcell. Just kidding. That one's for you, Eric. It's one of our listeners. Anyways. So yes, it's Great Tiger. It's Great Tiger. All right, next one is surrender or I will conquer you.
Is that Von Kaiser?
Yes, it's Von Kaiser.
All right.
Is that German?
Good job, John. Let's see. How about I can't drive, so I'm going to walk all over you.
I know who that is. I've answered 2 in a row. I'll let Justin take a shot at it.
I can't drive. Walk over you. Oh, is it? No, because it's different in the NES version.
No, just
I was going. Soda Popinski.
Yeah, it's Soda Pop. Okay. Yep.
Well, I guess that's still a layover from Vodka Drunkinski.
Yes.
Right.
They changed his name, left everything else the same.
Yeah, they basically didn't change anything but his name. All right. My body is so totally cool.
Super Macho Man.
Yep, Super Macho Man.
Uh-huh.
All right.
If they had walkout music, I would say Super Macho. I think Super Macho Man's walkout music would be pretty self-explanatory, right?
Yeah. It would be
Hair of the Dog.
It would be Macho Man by
No, Hair of the Dog by whoever did Hair of the Dog. That's what it is.
By whoever did that.
Mm-hmm.
You sure that's not Soda Popinski's song, Hair of the Dog?
That's probably true, actually.
Super Macho Man would be, Super Macho Man would be, Macho Man by the Village People.
I know, John. I was just trying to make a joke to not go with the obvious. But thank you for crapping on it. Thank you for crapping on it, John. Thank you.
You're welcome. I took it out.
All right. Here's another one. Make it quick. I want to retire.
Oh, this is easy. This is Glass Joe.
Well, you never beat him.
Yep.
So that's true. Yeah. I'm his one win.
That's why it's the only one he knows. It's the only one he knows.
Right.
Okay, how about people like my hair? Don't mess with my hair.
Bald Bull. I'm just joking.
Is it Super Macho Man again, right?
No, it's Don Flamenco.
No. Yep. It's Don Flamenco.
See, I know more than just Glass Joe. I knew Great Tiger, too.
I think you're going to have a nightmare tonight.
Oh, no. Yeah, this is easy.
Yeah. Sandman.
Yeah.
Definitely
it's not the Sandman.
Mr. Sandman.
It's not Mr. Sandman. Definitely the coolest boxer in the game.
Here's a question for you. Not to interrupt your game, but if one person was going to haunt you at night, one of these characters, which one would be more terrifying? Like if you had a ghost that lived in your house, and that ghost was the ghost of one of these characters, which one would be the most terrifying?
I'm going to say Doc.
Doc Lewis wandering around your house.
Because I think Doc would just be walking around. You know, his wide eyes. He's like, he looks terrified the entire time, and it's just like he's probably eating a lot of your food.
And then every now and then I'd be like, "Is that Carl Winslow?"
Oh. Yeah, is that Carl Winslow? No, it's Doc. And then it's like, well, he doesn't really bother you, but he keeps telling you to join the Nintendo fan club. And you're like, look, I already joined it. Leave me alone, please.
Stop rubbing my shoulders.
Yeah.
Ooh, join the Nintendo fan club. Ooh.
I think.
Yeah. Anyway,
for me, Mr. Sandman would be terrifying. Bald Bull would be terrifying because
Bald Bull would be.
Yeah. And then
the creepiest would be Don Flamenco.
Yeah.
You see him prancing around your room at night.
Or Glass Joe, because I think Glass Joe would not be a terrifying ghost. He would just be annoying. I feel like you'd have to keep talking him up as a ghost. Like, it's okay, you scared me. You did. You scared me.
No, you really did. I was really scared.
You got me. All right. He's like, no, I didn't. I didn't scare you. Just tell.
He would just raid your liquor cabinet.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
You want me to continue my quiz now?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. You should wear a helmet when you fight me.
I'm going to say that it's Bald Bull, but I don't know if that's right.
It's not Bald Bull.
I'll say, is it Iron Mike?
It's not Iron Mike.
Oh, man. We're going down.
It is Piston Honda.
Really?
Really? That's
Piston Honda.
It must have been his second time around.
It may have been. I didn't differentiate.
I know he says something about sushi. There's something that,
Well, there's one where he just yells like random Japanese things. It's like,
he says sushi, kamikaze, Fujiyama Nunuchi or something. Yeah.
What gets me is Nintendo was a Japanese company, but this was a really racist character.
Yeah, that one. I'm just glad they didn't do the same thing with Mr. Sandman, because that would have been really awkward.
Well, they kind of did with Soda Pop Ginsky or Vodka Drunk Ginsky.
Well, I mean, they did it with the Russian, they did it with the German, they did it with the French guy. They skipped the black guy, so that was.
They didn't touch the black guy. Yeah. So
I say it's not racist just because they spread it around.
So it's just a lot of racism equals no racism.
I'm pretty sure that's math there. Yeah.
You cancel it out. You cancel out your racism by just being completely racist.
Oh, okay. That's Nintendo.
Okay, how about I got another one here. I've lost my place, so I may do a repeat. If
Hey, they repeated boxers. You can repeat quotes.
Okay. Well, how about this one? It says, "My barber didn't know when to quit. Do you?"
Ball.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because he had like 3 hairs sticking out of the back of his head.
It kind of reminds me of Homer Simpson.
Yeah.
As far as the hair goes.
And in the creativity department, Nintendo kind of dropped the ball here, too. He's Ballboy from Istanbul, Turkey.
I think that's perfectly creative.
I think that's pretty good. I want to meet his barber. Like his barber, like cut his hair, and like there's 3 strands left, and he steps back and is like,
"Well,
okay, that's good."
There's a problem with that barber. That barber's dead. Ballboy killed him after that haircut.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay, I got. Let's see, I got 3 more. Okay, I got 3 more. You ready?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I can't win.
Well, no, it's Mike Tyson because he says I can't win, but something about he says that, right? It's Mike Tyson.
No, it's not Mike Tyson. This is kind of a trick question.
I thought Mike Tyson said something like I can't win, but you
Is it Doc Lewis? Is it Doc? Is it talking to Little Mac and saying you can't win?
No, it's Little Mac. He says I can't. He says I can't win.
Yeah, no.
Like if you're getting beat up in the.
Oh.
I remember what
Tyson says. They say I can't lose. I say you can't win.
Yeah, that's what it is. Okay. I thought you tried to trick us there.
I did try to trick you, and I think I did trick you actually.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 more.
Actually, yeah.
I have my weakness, but I won't tell you. Ha ha ha.
King Hippo.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, King Hippo. And lastly, and you may be able to guess this just because of I'm doing it last, but great fighting. You were tough, Mac. I've never seen such finger speed before.
Gross.
That's Mike Tyson.
Yep, that's Mike Tyson.
Mike Tyson's all about some finger speed. He got in a little trouble for that finger speed later.
Family friendly.
Oh, okay.
Family friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, that's my quiz. I think you guys got all but maybe 2, so that's pretty good. All right. I have a manual. You guys interested in a manual?
I am interested in a manual. Because the manual sometimes can be it's a lot different than the game. Like, the original Legend of Zelda manual, a lot different as described in the manual than the actual gameplay.
Tell me what you think about this. Alright. So here's the manual. For those of you watching live, you get to see it, but I'm going to read some from it like I normally do.
So for those of you just listening, too bad.
Yeah. Well, you get to hear my beautiful vocal cords, you know.
Look how terrifying Doc Lewis looks. Just look at Doc Lewis. It's like Doc, it's like to go to John's article. It's like he knows what's going on here. He knows what he's doing. He's putting Little Mac out. It's like it's like the zookeeper when they put the goat in, or in Jurassic Park when they put the goat in with the Tyrannosaurus Rex. It's like what's going to happen.
It's like you're sending a 17-year-old to box, a 298-pound guy from Turkey.
Mm-hmm. So, anyway.
All right, so I'm gonna read this. It says, "Thank you for selecting the Nintendo Entertainment System Mike Tyson's Punch-Out pack. Object of the game: Little Mac, a 17-year-old fighter from the Bronx in New York. He loves nothing better than a tough challenge." And then it gives a description of Doc Lewis. It says, "An ex-heavyweight who was a famous hard hitter in the U.S. around 1954. It all began one day when Little Mac and Doc Lewis met by chance. Doc became Mac's trainer, teaching him everything there is to know about boxing. Doc and Mac's story continues over a seemingly endless path until one day a champion is born." Who's that champion? Mike Tyson?
So what's the object of the game?
Yeah, it doesn't really tell you, does it? It just tells you the background of Mac and Doc, and
Oh, okay.
Here's a picture of Tyson.
Yeah.
Yeah, 31 wins, 0 losses.
Was there
27 KOs.
Did they have the rules for the WVVA above that?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Let's read that. The WVVA rules. A match consists of 3 rounds, each of which is 3 minutes long.
But with their timer, it's like 30 seconds.
Yeah. A boxer is knocked out if he does not get up within a count of 10 after being knocked down. Which, as we mentioned earlier, it depends on who gets knocked down.
Yeah.
It depends on how fast Mario feels like counting.
Yeah, if Mac gets knocked down, Mario's usually like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh, you're out.
If one of the other boxers gets down, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, he's about to get up. Hold on.
Hang on.
Okay, he didn't get up. 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, he's about to get up. Oh, he's up. It's not fair, but nobody ever said life's fair.
No.
Anyways, a technical knockout is scored if a boxer goes down 3 times in 1 round.
Can I just say something real quick? Because this is one of my first exposures to boxing, I thought that was an actual boxing rule. Like, I thought if you...
I did too.
Like in actual boxing, I thought if you knock somebody down 3 times in a round, that was it.
I thought that for a really long time, too. I'm not going to tell you how long, because it's embarrassing how long. But
10 seconds ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When John just told
10 seconds ago. When John just now told me.
Yeah.
No. And then, I love this last rule here. This is the best one. The referee determines the winner according to match points if time runs out in the 3rd round. And then, in quotations, watch out for unfair hometown decisions against Little Mac. Which, I never won a match, other than the Tyson match. I didn't win a single match by decision. If it ever went to decision, I always lost.
I don't think I ever got to a decision.
Yeah.
Either I had been knocked out by then, or I'd knocked the guy out.
Yeah, I usually got to a decision. Like I said, I got to a decision on Mike Tyson, and I got to a decision on Sandman, and like some of the later guys. It's sometimes it's, and I think the second Don Flamenco I've been to a decision a couple times on.
No, I think
just because he defends all the time.
Had to go to the decision with Glass Joe.
Well, yeah. To be technical about it, there's different point levels you have to get to win a decision. And I think after a certain point, I don't think you can win by decision. It might be like this, like the 3rd round, maybe.
What do you think?
Well, like after a certain point, you can't win by decision.
Okay.
You can't accumulate enough points to win. Is there anything else about that? I thought.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
No, that's it. That's it. As far as the rules. Let's see if there's anything else interesting in the manual. There's some opponents, but they don't give you all of them, so there's no reason to waste your time on that. Compliance with FCC rules?
Did they give you 4?
Right.
Memo. I love how they give you memo. It's like a scratch pad in these
passwords. Place to write down passwords.
Oh yeah, it's for your passwords. Which somebody's wrote one down on this manual.
How do they pick 4 boxers to put in the manual? They have an audition process or something?
Yes.
I don't know.
It's sorry, Don Flamenco, we can't understand you, so you're not going in the manual. Mr. Sandman couldn't be bothered.
Yeah, that's funny. All right,
Bye,
so to discuss the game, the easiest way to discuss it, I think, is just to go through the boxers, because I want to talk about all the boxers, and I want to talk about the game in general as we talk about it, but I think the easiest way to go about discussing it is just to go sequentially through the boxers. We can talk about our experience with them, and we can talk about just general things about them.
Makes sense.
So Glass Joe, John. Glass Joe. Tell me a little bit about Glass.
Introductory fighter, 1-99 record. He's from France, which I think is hilarious because he's a little surrender monkey.
Mr. Fancy Pants.
Yeah, I mean he's.
So who do you think he beat? I have a theory. Actually, I think I know.
If you go to the sequel, then they kind of spell it out. If you go to Super PunchOut for SNES, they say he beat Gabby J. That was his one
Yeah.
KO. But for the purposes of this game, I think he knocked himself out, and it counted as a KO.
Well, I put up a video on our Facebook page of Mike Tyson finally playing the game, like 25 years later, after he gets out of jail, and he couldn't beat Glass Joe. So my theory is, future Glass Joe beat Mike Tyson, and then never won again.
Huh.
But they still count it.
Huh. Interesting. I can see that. Future Glass Joe.
But basically, Glass Joe, he doesn't defend ever.
He does defend, but he either defends high or defends low. And it's pretty obvious which one he's doing. So you can land several punches high or low before he realizes what you're doing. It's like, wait, I'm getting punched in the face. Maybe I should move my guard up here. And then you can just punch him in the stomach.
Right.
You know boxers.
How quickly can... What, Justin?
You know boxers. They, after a while, they don't have a brain cell in their body. So
I can usually TKO Glass Joe in the first round.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. How quickly can you take out Glass Joe?
Because
I've taken him out. It was probably luck and just a roll of the dice with the game, but I've taken him out within like the first 20 seconds before, just because I've knocked him down quickly, and then he didn't get back up for some reason.
Usually I just wait for it to load up a couple of special punches and just knock him down 3 times.
Just unload on him. Yeah.
So
easy. Von Kaiser, the German.
Kaiser. Okay, for any of our viewers who haven't seen this already, I think Mike, you and Justin have. There's a great. They did like a 2-minute live action PunchOut, like a movie trailer, and it's hilarious. And it's basically, Little Mac grew up and he's a washed up boxer, and then Mr. Sandman's son challenges him to a fight, and so Little Mac has to get back into the game, and his trainer is Von Kaiser, and it's pretty hilarious. Look it up on YouTube.
I'll have to look that up. I haven't actually seen that.
Oh man, it's pretty funny.
It's funny. It's really funny. Yeah.
So this is like years later after Little Mac this is like a comeback.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah, it's funny. I meant to say, just going back to Glass Joe for a brief second, they have his weight listed at 110 pounds.
The only person that's... Yeah. The only person somewhat similar to Little Mac.
Yeah. What kind of throw...
4?
I don't know. They really don't know. I feel like they don't know what they're doing as far as weights go in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's...
Like, I'll mention some of the other weights as we go along, but I really feel like somebody didn't know what they were doing as far as weights. Because Glass Joe, well, I guess it kind of makes sense. He's really skinny, maybe. He's like 6 foot tall and 110 pounds.
He's basically just emaciated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, it's you go.
He looks like the guy from. He looks like Christian Bale in that movie, The Machinist.
I mean, they really do cover a range. It's like it's not a weight class, really.
Yeah, it's
whoever decided to box that day. So
the WVBA or whatever it is, they don't do weight classes. They just do whoever's the best.
Yeah.
We should. There's your movie idea. Glass Joe, come back. He was a joke in his prime. Now he's gonna get trained up. I know who we could cast in that role of Glass Joe. We can cast Owen Wilson.
Oh,
looks like Glass Joe. Who could we cast as the trainer?
I say Carl Winslow as Doc.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Reginald L. Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
So Doc comes and trains Glass Joe now.
Yeah. Okay, Von Kaiser.
I always felt a little bad for Von Kaiser, and as we go through the boxers, I might repeat some things from the article I wrote. Sorry. But he's like
nobody
40?
reads it, so you might as well say.
Yeah, that's fine. I figured. But he's like what, 40, 45?
I think he's 42. 42.
Yeah.
42, yep.
And he's still boxing. I mean, it's like, is that what your life has come to? You're still.
He doesn't manage his money well.
He must not. And he's got something like 80 fights or something like that. That's. I don't know. I just feel kind of guilty for beating him up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys
he's pretty cool though.
You guys probably don't watch. I don't think you guys watch a lot of MMA, UFC. But there was a recent fight where this guy named BJ Penn tried to make a comeback against Frankie Edgar, who had already beat him twice. And it was just embarrassing. And it was just like, and Frankie Edgar, even after the fight, he was like, I almost kind of feel bad about this. And so, it was like, I don't know if there could be anything more emasculating than not only getting your tail whooped, but then the guy actually saying he feels bad that he did it afterwards. That's gotta be like,
it's like when you beat up on your kid brother or something, and he's like 6 and you're like 15, and you're like, look, I don't really want to beat you up, but you're my kid brother.
You have to.
But,
yeah.
Although Von Kaiser was a boxing instructor at a military school, which I think is pretty impressive, and also like which military school still teaches boxing? Actually, well,
German.
Let's get German. Well, actually, I think the Navy still has golden gloves.
Here's what I think about Von Kaiser, right? I think he says I was a boxing teacher at the military academy. I feel like he just kind of did both, and because he was teaching, he just let people fight with him. He let them arrange fights for him because he's always in shape, and that's why his rank's so low because he really doesn't care. Was that a laugh or what was it?
It was a
joking.
It was a laugh. It was a laugh cough. Cough laugh.
Cough laugh. Anyway, so I think he just, he didn't really care, so he didn't really try. He just, was like, oh yeah, you want to fight me? Sure, why not?
Sure.
So then the champion of the minor circuit, Piston Honda.
Which is a fantastic name. That is a great boxer name. Piston Honda.
But it is, but at the same time, going back to the racial things. So he's Japanese. His name is Honda.
Well, that's a legit surname, though.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, that's not... look at E Honda from Street Fighter.
It's a surname in video games.
Yeah, it's a legit.
That's the way you justify that. That's how you justify it. Well, look at this other video game.
Yeah,
there's another guy with Honda.
It just happens to be a fighting game. Yeah, but
it is a legit surname. Like the Honda vehicle. That's a name
Mr. Honda.
Yeah, Mr. Honda.
Jack Honda. Jack Honda.
Piston Honda's got a good record too, which kind of throws you off if. He's only lost one fight.
Well, he's on his way up.
When you meet him the first time.
Yeah, he's on his way up. You see him again later.
You know how boxers inflate their record. Boxers all the time get accused of inflating their record and fighting a bunch of no names so that they could say they're 25-0 or 25-1. I feel like that's probably what Piston Honda did.
He just fought Glass Joe like week after week.
And they brought in a homeless guy for him to beat up on, and then that counted as a win. Because, and then
I feel like.
Go ahead.
I feel like Piston Honda. See, I disagree. I think Piston Honda. I agree with John. I think he's an up and comer. I think Piston Honda is. I think he's. I don't know. I feel like because you see him later, I feel like he's on his way up. He and Mac are both kind of doing the same thing. They're both.
Is he the Japanese version of Little Mac?
He may be.
I would agree with you, but the only hole in that theory is Piston Honda's 28 years old. That's kind of, you should either be at your peak or you're on your downward decline in boxing world.
He went to college first. He went to college first.
He boxed in college.
Yeah.
No, you don't have a lot of Floyd Mayweathers that are like 38 years old. Getting up in their late 30s and still fighting and still doing it well.
Bernard Hopkins.
Well, yeah, he's just a freak. I don't understand that guy, but 50 years old. I'm really looking forward to his match in November against Kovalev. I think that's going to be a good match.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see Bernard win that one. I'm always pulling for Bernard because the longer he defeats nature, I think, then the happier we'll be as a society as a whole. He's fighting for us all.
Bernard Hopkins, key to the society's happiness.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
All right, so into the major circuit, since this is a video game podcast, not a boxing podcast, Justin.
Okay. Really quickly, Piston Honda. And his little dance was pretty neat. I mean, it's one of, like, if you've ever played around with like your brothers or anything, and try to hop around and do the piston punch. But if you timed it right, you can land him on his back.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, you can. I do like the timing of things in this game.
I always did it before I got the piston punch down. I always threw my punch late because I always felt like I would miss him and throw it too early. I don't know if you guys had any problems with the timing with knocking Piston Honda down, but
yeah. I like how Piston just constantly looked for the Tokyo cameras.
All right, are we on Don Flamenco now?
Yeah.
We can be because that actually leads into what I was talking about just a little bit. The different falling down animations that people had.
Yes, they did have different falling down animations.
So
you like the falling animation?
Yeah, Piston Honda had a good one. Don Flamenco's was the best because he'd like skid 4, 5, 6 times across the mat. He'd like veer one way, veer the other way, then back another way,
I like the sound effects that go along with this too because it's almost like tires screeching. It's like. And
then there's like this. They did a very good job with the sound design on this game because it's a very satisfying thud when they hit the bat. Very.
Yeah, the sound effects in this game just in general are just spot on because everything you do, the punches, everything is just like you said, it's satisfying. Like every time you land a good punch, or when you do the super punch, you get that little charge up noise, and I mean, just everything's perfect.
Yeah, so Don Flamenco has a good falling down animation. Piston Honda's is pretty good. King Hippo's is awesome, and Bald Bull's is terrifying.
Yeah.
I like Soda Popinski's because he goes flying through the air if you uppercut him.
He does.
And he covers his face.
That's
I like that one.
One thing I know when Piston Honda.
Flamenco always frustrated me. Frustrated me because I was more of an aggressive type of boxer in this game. Like I would just try to get as many punches in as possible, and always try to hit them even when it's not a counter. I try to sneak a punch in, and Flamenco just blocks all the time. It's so frustrating.
Well, that's he was frustrating because if you alternated your punches, you could do it until he was knocked down. But it was it was kind of boring. You're like A, B, A, B, A. And then if your thumb slipped or something, and you went with like 2 A's in a row or 2 B's in a row, then you'd shake it off and you have to start the whole thing over again.
I think my favorite part of Don Flamenco was his sweet-talking nature. He liked Mario's hair.
Uh-huh.
And, he does. He says, "Hey, Mr. Referee Mario, I like your hair."
Yeah, and then he had a thing for this girl named Carmen.
Yeah.
He dances so sweet for her.
And then he had a rose in his mouth.
Yeah.
Yes. He was just a smooth talker.
That's a Spaniard for you.
He's from Madrid, right?
Yes.
Yes, he's from Madrid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what about King Hippo? He's probably the oddball out of the entire list.
He's great.
The only thing I think got to say about King Hippo is how the heck did he get ranked number 2 in the major circuit?
Hey, if he lands a punch, that's pretty powerful.
Yeah, he's like, I guess he's kind of like Butterbean.
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say. He's like Butterbean.
He's not the most.
He just hits you really hard.
Yeah, he's not. There's no finesse. He's just gonna punch you and try to knock you out. All 18 wins.
What I want to know
by knockout.
And if you think about it,
what I want to know is.
Go for
it. You.
If you think about it, none of the other boxers knew what to prepare for. Because it's like, how tall is he? Who knows? How much does he weigh? Who knows? Where's he even from? Who knows?
Hippo Island?
Hippo Island. They did say
where's that? Yeah, but where's that?
South Pacific, somewhere in the South Pacific.
So he's tough to prepare for if you don't know anything about him.
What exactly is he the king of, by the way?
Hippo Island.
Is he king of Hippo Island?
Mm-hmm. Sure, yeah.
He
has a crown. He has to be a king.
Yeah.
Hippo Island is probably just like a kiddie pool in his backyard that he goes and sits in with his little crown.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
What I want to know, though, is what happened to his belly button? Something has happened to his belly button. It's very sensitive.
Maybe he just had appendicitis.
Well, here's the thing. He tried to get his belly button pierced. And the thing was, he was so large, or so fat, that they just kept trying to use a bigger needle, and they just made him really sensitive down there. So,
did it get infected? Probably got infected.
I think it probably there was probably some infection there. Yeah.
Gross.
But I like how he has a Band-Aid over it.
Just a large ace bandage.
Yeah.
See, I want to know how they got him out of the ring. Because he doesn't get up.
He can't get up. He's so fat he can't get up. Which I love that in this game. That how they throw a character in there like him that's so unique. Like even the way you fight him, like you have to do there's a certain way you fight him, and then when you finally knock him down, he never gets back up because he's so fat.
And especially after coming after Don Flamenco is like kind of frustrating. Isn't really that enjoyable of a match. And then you fight King Hippo. It's just fun.
Yeah. It's
fun. It's one of my favorite matches in the game. And then you fight the Great Tiger. Who, for the longest time, when I was a kid, when I was the younger kid, when I was like in elementary school playing this game, I always got stuck on him for some reason. Because I never ever could figure out his little teleporty punch thing. Until I got older and I realized you just block it. And there's no problem, but...
the frustrating thing is you have to reset the block each time he punches you.
Right, you do.
And if you mess up your timing, so frustrating.
I just think he's the creepiest fighter of all these. Like I know Don Flamenco is creepy, but come on. The guy's got a dead tiger laid over the turnbuckle there in the ring. It's like what is up with this guy? And first of all, I don't think in the real world if you just bring a dead tiger with you to the ring, I'm fairly certain you're going to be arrested.
I don't think it's a dead tiger. I think it's like his robe made out of tiger skin, but with the head left on.
I still think this has got to be illegal somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, I can see. And he wears his turban into the ring. I mean, the WVVA really needs to get standard with its rules. Because Little Mac wears a tank top. I don't know who wears a tank top to box. Great Tiger has a turban. Yeah, amateurs. Super Macho Man has a Speedo. I mean, Don Flamenco is bringing a rose into the ring. I mean, they need some standardization.
I feel like, Anyway.
Yeah.
There is no... it's really so willy-nilly, too, because it's like, okay, here you got Glass Joe, who's 110 pounds, so that kind of matches up with Little Mac, who's 107. Then we're gonna put him up against a guy named Bald Bull, who just happens to be 300 pounds.
Yeah.
There's no weight class here.
Yeah.
No weight class problem. So
Bald Bull is probably kind of the face of the game as far as bad guys go. He's the one I always think of the most. And it may be because they used him again and again in the sequels, but Bald Bull is the guy that I think of when I think of opponents and Punch-Out.
He's the Joker to Little Mac's Batman.
Yes. And he's pretty scary.
He's definitely terrifying. 298 pounds.
Although I find him easy now that once you get his pattern down, he's actually pretty easy.
But it's another one of those timing ones. If you can interrupt his bull charge, although, like I said, I think if he connected with the bull charge in real life, Little Mac would go flying out of the ring, land in the spectator seat somewhere, and never get up again.
Yeah, he does kind of like squat down and jump up with 300 pounds of force.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
onto Little Mac. It's pretty scary.
Which I always want to see that tried in like a real life boxing match. I always wanted to see somebody like squat down and try to throw an uppercut from the floor.
Yeah,
I don't think it would work.
Probably not. But if it actually connected.
I think that would be the easiest to just step out of the way from.
Well, I think the guy would be confused. Like, if he hadn't seen it before, like, what is this guy doing? Like, oh, gee, and then he get hit in the jaw with a gigantic uppercut.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so after you beat him, you are the major circuit champion. And then you move on to the world circuit, which is probably, for me, the most fun, because that's when it gets challenging. And you kind of repeat boxers a lot in the world circuit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they fight in both circuits the whole time, or if they just made it up to the world circuit. I don't know how that works, but I have a feeling that maybe they just fight in both circuits. Like if you're the champion of one circuit, you get to fight in the world circuit.
Yeah.
I don't know. But you start with Piston Honda again. Mm-hmm. We've talked about Piston Honda, but he's a little bit more difficult. And then you fight Soda Popinski, which is probably one of my favorite boxers in the game.
Drunk on soda.
Pop.
Drunk on that soda.
Pop.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's green
right,
bottle.
Soda Pop. Soda Pop.
Right.
Does he bring that with him into the ring?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
He's the first one. Is he the first one to laugh at you if you lose? Or was that Bald Bull?
Big Bald Bull laughs at you.
I don't know, but when they laugh, they sound like Ganon from Zelda.
And
it's like the patented NES laugh.
It's really frustrating if you lose and then the guy stands there like he puts his hands on his hips and he's like and just laughs at you the entire time.
Yeah, that's pretty frustrating. But it just makes you want to come back and beat him even more.
Mm-hmm. But Soda Popinski was just, not a lot of special stuff, no craziness, just a solid boxer.
He came flying in from. He had a lot of big angles whenever he would punch. He'd come flying in from these wide angles.
That's true. And
but he did have. He did have a pretty what?
He did have a pretty deep uppercut too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And he had he's the one that had the spin around. That's Super Macho Man. Never mind. What was his special move?
He didn't really have one. He had kind of a deep uppercut, some crosses. I mean,
he had a repeated uppercut, right? He did like 4 or 5 in a row or something. Maybe. Anyways, you fight Bald Bull next again, and then you fight Don Flamenco again, which is even more frustrating because he blocks even more.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then finally you fight another new guy, Mr. Sandman.
Okay, confession time. I could never beat. This is as far as I ever got. I could never beat Mr. Sandman.
Mr. Sandman is pretty tough.
He's tough. For the longest time, he was probably the hardest for me to beat. Simply because the way he telegraphs his punches are kind of random and they're really fast. Like you don't have a whole lot of time to react. The trick to beating Mr. Sandman, though, is to not punch his face. You got to punch his stomach because you get more punches in if you punch his stomach.
Go to the body shots.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like Mr. Sandman. I think he's kind of a boring character myself, but
I think he's the coolest character in the game. He has the best nickname for his super punch, which is either the Sandblaster or the Dreamland Express.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Both of which are awesome.
I agree with that.
He talks a big game between rounds. He's guys, say night night, little Mac. I think he's the coolest character in the game.
He's cool in the real world style cool. Like I could see him being a real boxer cool. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But compared to all these other wild and crazy guys in the game, I think he's kind of boring. John, you just like him because he's from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
That's true.
Yeah, let's be honest, John. Just be honest with us.
That's true. Well, what do you think, Justin? Cool or not cool, Mr. Sandman?
I like him. I think, for all the reasons you stated. I think he would be a terrifying ghost if he lived in your house.
Yes, he definitely would be.
That would be a scary ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because you'd be afraid to fall asleep. Because he's the same.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's kind of like Freddy Krueger, right?
Yeah, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Except he's a boxer.
He just beats the crap out of you. He doesn't kill you in your dream. He just beats you up all the time.
You just wake up with a black eye.
You're going to work the next day, you look all beat up, and you're just like, you got no sleep, and you're just like, what is wrong with you? You going to bars and fighting at night? It's like, no.
No, yeah. Mr. Sandman's haunting my house.
So, yeah.
So then the guy right before the dream fight is Super Macho Man. And I would put him equally difficult with Mr. Sandman. He's I don't think he's any more difficult, but I don't think he's any less difficult at all. He should be more, right? But once you figure him out. For me, once I figured out Super Macho Man, he was easier than Mr. Sandman because Mr. Sandman, just the way he does it, telegraphs his punches, I've just never really been able to figure it out. When I'm trying to beat the game, I usually lose to Mr. Sandman at least once, but then I beat Super Macho Man fairly easily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The biggest problem with Macho Man is he's just too sexy.
You mean
he works on his side too much.
His really tight Speedo that always threw me off.
He was big sexy before Kevin Nash was big sexy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that gray mullet. Mm.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. I'm going to refer to John's article on that. That was John had a good take on the gray. What was up with the gray mullet?
Yeah,
He's only 27 years old, according to the game, right?
Yeah, so hard time believing that.
That's an early gray. That's an awful early gray.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It throws you off, like the whole gray mullet thing, and then with the super punch, he spins himself around and falls over, or almost falls over.
Yeah.
Which that one always trips me up too, because the problem I have with that is I typically dodge left. That's like my go-to dodge is the left dodge. And if you dodge left, you don't dodge that punch. You have to dodge right. So every time I get to that fight, I have to remind myself to dodge right instead of dodge left. So that always trips me up a little bit.
Yeah, and then he intimidates you by flexing his pecs at you,
which is creepy.
Yeah, that's really creepy.
Yeah,
it's like, here's a 17-year-old taking on Super Macho Man.
Let me flex my pecs at this 17-year-old.
That'll scare him.
Again, going to John's article, that was pretty good. He had a pretty good take on that. Just like this creepy old ex-bodybuilder. Now he's going to start flexing at the 17-year-old. What's going on?
That'll scare him.
Yeah. Something's not right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
anyway.
Then after you beat Macho Man, you get the Dream Fight, which is either Mr. Dream or Mike Tyson, which for this game it's Mike Tyson. Because we may, Justin, I don't know about you, we may talk about this game again. We just made you just do Mr. Dream's Punch-Out too. But later. But so Mike Tyson.
Really quickly, before we get to Mike Tyson, I feel like Mr. Dream was just a rip-off of Mr. Sandman.
Yeah.
The same thing.
He's like a white version of Mike Tyson.
Well, I mean a rip-off in terms of his character.
Yeah.
Like Mr.
The
Sandman.
name and stuff.
Yeah, it's like Mr. Sandman's like, put you to sleep. Kind of the whole Sandman thing, and then Mr. Dream is kind of the same. Anyway, Mike Tyson.
I think they called him Mr. Dream because it's the Dream Fight, right? Anyways, Mike Tyson. Now, Mike Tyson is ridiculously difficult. It's not even fair, really.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So did you ever cheat to skip straight to Tyson? To skip straight to Tyson?
Well, I wouldn't call it cheating, but yes, I did. I mean, that's the only way you can train enough to beat him, is because that's the one thing that actually is okay with the Tyson fight, is that you can go straight to him and practice. Otherwise, you'd have to go back up and fight through a bunch of guys.
Yeah,
because the Tyson fight, he's not the champion of the world circuit. He's his own circuit, basically. He's the Dream Fight.
Circuit.
I don't consider it cheating to go straight to him because he's his own thing.
Well, it's kind of like professional boxing anyway. Professional boxing, you don't really work your way up through a tournament or anything. You just, once you get to that level, you just arrange your own matches.
Okay, that's fair.
Right.
And I mean, I did beat the game to get the code to go straight to Tyson. It's not a cheat code. They give you the code after you beat Super Macho Man.
Mm-hmm.
So
this is the days before the internet where you can't find the code unless you got a good friend that can give it to you.
So before you get to Tyson, right? There's the world. You win the world circuit, but when they show you the code for the world circuit after you beat it, they don't show it to you in a typical manner like they do whenever you are doing the training sequence, the jogging part, which stop here for a minute. That is probably one of the coolest parts of the game, right? After you beat the circuit and you do the training thing and it plays that music, that really cool music. I think that's probably one of the cooler parts of the game.
Yeah, it's got the New York skyline going on in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pretty solid.
You get the pink jumpsuit.
Yes.
But anyways, you don't get that when you beat Super Macho Man. You get a newspaper headline saying that Mac is now the champ. But I think it's a joke because when it says this, and then up in the upper left corner of the newspaper it says April 1st, 1987.
Oh, no, you gotta give Little Mac his props. He was the champ.
Yeah. But why would they release this news story on April 1st? That just seems wrong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Don't play with Little Mac's heart like that.
I know, stupid newspaper. Anyways, so they give you that code, right? And you go straight to Tyson.
Yeah.
And Tyson's a difficult match. I don't think it's cheating to go straight to Tyson. Like I said, if you beat it and get the code, then it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I couldn't beat him now. I tried. I got to him again, but I don't know if it's just because I'm old and my reflexes aren't there anymore. But I just couldn't beat him. I beat him when I was in high school when I played this game a lot. I beat him, and I could never knock him out. I never could knock him out. I could just survive long enough, basically, to get to a decision.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I scored enough points one time to have beaten him. It was weird because I was used to lasting long enough and the decision going to him, and I was like, So when it went to the decision, I can remember this distinctly because when I beat him, it went to the decision, and I was like, crap. I couldn't beat him. And then it's like, and it goes to Little Mac. And I thought, I was like,
ta-da!
Yes!
So, yeah.
So, that's my story of beating Tyson.
Yeah,
I don't have a story beating Tyson.
Never could beat Tyson, because I'd always dodge too late just once, and then he'd drop me. And that
his uppercut knocks you down instantly. The other punches don't. They don't knock you down. They don't knock out all of your life. They just knock out most of your life.
Yeah.
So make sure you dodge the uppercuts, or else you're toast.
$10,000 plus medical bills. Would you let Mike Tyson take a free shot at your jaw?
Now or then?
Either. I don't think that he's lost. I mean, sure he's lost power when compared to if he was going to try to go back into boxing, but compared to like us, he could probably still break our face.
So we're saying
does he have a glove on? Does he have a glove on, or is it barefisted?
We'll let you have a glove.
Oh, if he has a glove, then yeah, I'll do it.
Like a 40-ounce glove.
standard heavyweight glove, which I think is like 16 ounces, something like that.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe I would. He only gets one shot.
One shot.
Unblocked, right? I just got to stand there and let him do it.
Oh yeah.
Can I flinch? Because I imagine I would probably flinch.
I think it's going to happen so fast you're not going to have the opportunity to do it.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, I'd do it.
All right.
Well, it's
fair enough.
Can I negotiate for a little bit higher rate?
You could.
You should.
He'd probably just punch me.
Yeah.
Well, while we're talking about getting knocked down, did anybody feel like the most pressure after Little Mac got knocked down, you're trying to get him to get back up, and you see him like he starts to get back up, and then he's like starts to fall back down, he starts to get back up, and you're like jamming on the buttons as hard as you can?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did, but eventually I realized that it's kind of rigged in that it'll either let you get up or it won't.
Mm-hmm.
I typically, and I don't know if this is a true fact of the game or not, but whenever I was getting up, I would typically wait until it got to about 8 seconds and then get up really fast, because for some reason, and this may just be something I've thought in my head over the years for ridiculous reasons, and there's no scientific reason, or there's no basis for me doing this. I didn't read about this or anything. I just have always thought this. But I thought that if you get up late, you get more life.
That's true. That is an actual thing.
That is true?
Yes.
Okay. See, I always just thought that. I always just thought that in my mind, but that's true. So there's a reason for me to think that.
Yeah. And the select thing between rounds?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know about that?
Yeah, you can press select and it'll recharge your life.
Yeah, but it only works once per fight, I think.
Yeah, I did know about that. Okay, so good. I don't feel like I'm crazy anymore. So waiting until the last minute is a viable strategy.
But sometimes, depending on who you're fighting, and you may not get back up.
Right. Well, I feel like if you hit the button fast enough, at about 8 seconds, you're either going to get up or you're not. It really doesn't. It's not more difficult. Mm-hmm. I mean, to get up, it's a matter of whether the game lets you.
Right.
I think that's what it feels like, anyways. We want to cram in some final thoughts about graphics and sound and all that good stuff before we get into our final segments.
They were all excellent for an 8-bit game. The sound design especially was fantastic.
The sound was really good.
And the music is incredible.
Other than the unfortunate sprites where you get Mr. Macho Man with gray hair, and then what's the other one?
Soda Popinski with changes colors.
Yeah, the orange skin. I think it was. I agree. It was good.
That's a result of too much soda, I think.
Yeah, too much Orange Crush.
But I think the character design. The character designs are just amazing, and then the graphics. What blows me away about this game is how well it stands up. Like, what, 30 years later? I don't know. When this game come out, Justin? I don't remember what you said. 87? 89?
87.
87.
Yeah.
So almost 30 years later, and this game holds up this well.
Absolutely.
I mean, the graphics still look good. The sound is still perfect. I mean, it just blows me away how, and the gameplay. I mean, like we said earlier, it's basically just a rhythm game, but people love rhythm games.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Retrofitted trophies.
Let's let. Did you come up with some?
Well, I came up with some, but I'm going to narrow it down to one for the sake of time because I think only one of them's any good.
Okay, let's just stick with the ones that are good then.
Okay. Right.
That's a good rule of life.
Normally we just do them all, but I guess since we're running so long, we should probably just stick with the good ones only.
Yeah, we'll spare you the crappy ones.
Mm-hmm. All right. John, you want to go first? You got any good ones? Do you need some time?
I need some time. You guys go first.
Okay.
Well, mine is... Tell us your one good one.
Mine is go back to making cars. And that's beating Piston Honda the second time. You have to beat him the second time. Because I think after the second time you beat him, he gets his rematch. After you beat him the second time, he's got to go back to making cars.
Okay. Well, I'm going to give one of mine then. I don't know. I feel like I've got more, but I don't want to. Okay,
we'll do more than one.
I'll just give one for now. Okay. Okay. My first one is go get you some Rogaine, you big bum, and that is.
That's a very long trophy name.
Do what?
It's a very long trophy.
I don't care. It's go get you some Rogaine, you big bum, and that is knocking down KOing the bald bull by hitting his charge attack and knocking him back.
Ooh.
Oh, that's a good one.
Throwing it back in his face, huh?
Uh-huh. Yep. John, do you have one?
Not any cool ones. If you KO Mr. Salmon, nighty night.
99. Okay, I like that. All right, I'll just give one more. Holyfield's Revenge, and that is knocking Mike Tyson's ear off. You hit him so hard.
Knocking his ear off.
Not that that's possible, but go ahead.
But sure.
No, basically just KOing. If you can KO Tyson, which I don't even know if that's possible. I guess it is, but if you can KO Tyson,
you can only beat him by decision, right?
No, you can TKO him if you can knock him down 3 times.
Okay.
Yeah, you can TKO him.
All right.
But so
I guess you could give Little Mac a trophy if he gets up twice in one fight. Give him the Rocky trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So KO and Tyson
sociopath trophy.
I feel like also if you KO Tyson, then you're totally going to get the Tom Arnold would be impressed trophy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How about a rating?
Game rating.
I say we do type of punch.
So this game would be an uppercut.
An uppercut?
And what is your reasoning? What is your reasoning?
Because just like Little Mac, you start really low and throw a punch that reaches all the way to the top.
Ah, nice. I like it. And so this game is
all the way at the top.
All right. It's at the end of the uppercut.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, I'm going to go with Haymaker because I feel like this game came flying in and just knocked everybody out. I feel like since this game's hit, it's been in probably, 90% of everybody's top 5 NES games. So it came in like a haymaker.
I'm going to go with the jab, because I think the jab is, whether you like it or not, it's the standard bearer in a fight. You throw more jabs than you do anything else, and you play this game probably more than any other boxing game in the history. This is probably more played than any other boxing game. So it's the standard bearer punch-out is. So I'm going to go with the standard bearer punch, just the jab.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Yeah, punch-out's good stuff. Okay, let's quickly go through some listener feedback. This episode is so long.
Yeah, punch-out.
Listener feedback.
Stuff. Let's go on.
Punch-out, great, done.
Oh man, I feel like we could talk about this forever.
That'd be a great way to end the show. Yep, punch-out, some great stuff. All right, goodbye.
No, I think we need to end it with Mike's audio feedback.
Yeah, that'd be a good song. So.
Yeah.
All right, feedback.
Justin, why don't you got it pulled up? Can you pull it up?
I'm working on it.
Okay, because we got a voicemail, I think, that I would like to play. So I got to pull it up.
Is it hate mail?
I don't know. I'm going to play it without listening to it.
Oh boy, that's dangerous.
Yep. So
who was the person that kept texting and they were looking for somebody?
I don't remember. This one's actually from Dude Apple, though, so we know it's going to be quality.
All right. Yeah, John, in case you didn't know. Okay.
Wait, John, go ahead. Tell John.
We have this phone number that people can call.
Yeah.
And somebody kept texting Mike, looking for somebody, or kept texting that number. I wish I could remember what the name was. It was hilarious. We read that as actual feedback.
Okay, all right.
Hey, dude. Good to hear that you're coming back. This is Dude Upful. Happy. Can't wait to hear the next podcast, but I'm going to ask you for a favor. My birthday's coming up, October 7th. The best present I could think of would be a Kid Icarus episode. I'd love to know the history. The game holds a real significance. Please, my heart. Give me a second. Make this one. Control yourself, Jeff. Okay. Anyways, good game. If you could also find out anything about how that game was connected with big silver boxes that would be in stores, like Sears or maybe even a Walmart, that would be the best, because that's how I used to play that game. I would run to Sears, or I would run in Sears every time I got there as a kid, and I would go play Kid Icarus. And now that I'm older, I own the cartridge. Anyways, I'm rambling and acting really stupid. Thanks for listening. Glad to hear that you're coming back. Never take another break again. Ever. Bye.
I'm glad I'm a guest on this podcast.
Never take a break again.
Again.
Yeah. No, but he got a little emotional there on us, so I think we're going to have to... Did he say it's his birthday on October 7th?
Yeah.
And we're going to have to do it. And after hearing the way he ended that call, I think we have to do Kid Icarus for his birthday.
I'm terrified now, so...
Kind of worried what's going to happen if you don't do Kid Icarus.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Yeah, okay, so I guess we'll do Kid Icarus.
Yeah.
Facebook, go ahead.
Now I feel like we're going to...
Thanks for the call.
I feel like we're going to get flooded with threats for people wanting their game done. But anyway, I digress. All right, so Jeremy Fain, just an hour ago, so maybe he's watching. I don't know. He said, who is the easiest to beat, not including Glass Joe, Hippo, or Von Kaiser? And in he also had kind of a follow-up question, who is the hardest boxer for you guys? How long did it take you to beat one of the characters, i.e. Soda Pop or Ballboy?
For me, Don Flamenco is the easiest.
Yeah, I agree.
If you just repeat A, B, A, B.
Yeah.
And then I never beat Mr. Sandman, so there's my answer.
I guess I'm going to go ahead and say hardest boxer for you guys besides Mike Tyson, because Mike Tyson's obviously the hardest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I would probably say Mr. Sandman for me is the hardest besides Tyson.
Yeah, I always kind of struggle with Bald Bull, too. Bald Bull was pretty tough for me, so.
The second one, I assume?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the second one.
Yeah. Okay. Just check it.
All right.
All right, what else?
Robert Ferguson said, I remember playing the arcade game and really enjoying it. I'd forgotten about that when I first found the cart, which would have been in the mid-'90s. I remember seeing the reissue without Mike Tyson in my wife's KB for $5 or $10, but I didn't get that version. I got the original from Funko Land. I don't know what Funko Land is, but it sounds awesome. I love the game, even if it was really more of a rhythm game than a boxing game, and you don't miss the second screen on the arcade machine. Subsequent versions have been really good too, but the NES version is my favorite, and is one of the best games I play when I do fire up the NES. One of the games I play when I do fire up the NES. And I hope you all talk about this, which is the Gillette Cavalcade of Sports. He posted a video.
Did you watch the video?
I did not. This is actually the first time I've seen it.
It's got the Mike Tyson's Punch-Out music in it, I think. I listened to it. I think it's got the Mike Tyson's Punch-Out music in it, which I wonder, I'm guessing that Mike Tyson kind of took it from this Gillette, because this Gillette's pretty old, this commercial.
Yeah, it's a 1958 commercial.
So one of the songs in Punch-Out actually comes from this, and I had no idea. So that's really interesting.
I didn't either. Yeah, thank you for that.
Is there any
I'm
way
going to go ahead and I'm going to share it.
Yeah.
I don't know if no, Google won't let us play it, I don't think, but I will share it on our page.
And then Jeremy Fain also said, I remember Mike Tyson's Punch-Out being the id game for the NES. You couldn't pre-order then, so my father had to travel around Manhattan to a Crazy Eddie's. I got it and remember staying up till 1 a.m. in the morning trying to defeat King Hippo. I never beat Tyson. My cousin was about to. Then a blackout occurred. He never was able to beat it again. I was never able to dent Iron Mike.
A common story.
Yeah. So, anyway, if there's any more feedback, that was on our actual event page.
All right, I just shared that video that he gave us. So by the time you listen to this, it'll have been up for a long time. So
yeah. Okay. Awesome.
All right. Well, I do have one iTunes rating from New Mutant 82. It says one of the best gaming podcasts ever. This is a 5-star rating on iTunes. It says long-time listener, long-time reviewer. These guys know more about the NES than you do, and it's awesome. Wows with every show and even entertains. Pick a game you like and start listening from there. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah.
So thank you, New Mutant 82. That was a good review.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes, thank you.
John, do you have anything you want to shout out about yourself? I mean, you're not a fellow podcaster or anything. You're just our friend. But if you have any things you want to share, like you've got a project or I don't know, you want to say anything? Say, hey, my name is John, or I don't know.
Hey, my name is John. No, well, thank you guys.
I just want to give you the opportunity if you do want to.
I'll give a shout out to the Two Dudes in a Nest podcast because thanks for having me on and thanks for publishing the one article I've ever written in my entire life.
Hey, that's cool. Feel free to write any more NES style articles
for the website. Yeah, and also we'll probably have you back on. Unless our readers or our listeners riot and say this John guy has got to go.
I can see that.
I don't think that's going to happen, but anyway, we'll probably have you back on for more games in the future.
For Super Mario Brothers 2.
Oh yeah, you got to be there for that one. For those of you who don't know John is a big Super Mario Brothers 2 fan.
I think it's.
We'll only have you back on if you write another scathing article about it.
Oh, okay. I'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
That's my shout out.
Well,
okay,
we are
cool.
the
Thanks.
2 dudes.
Justin, shout us out.
Yeah, we are the 2 dudes. You can find us on our website at nesdudes.com. Of course, you can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. We're on just about every social media as well. Instagram, MySpace is apparently still a thing. Just pretty much anything that's out there, you can find us on. So
carrier pigeons, smoke signals.
Right.
And you can call us if you notice we had a phone call today.
Yeah.
If you want to call us, that number is 775-7-RETRO-1.
There you go. All righty.
All right. Here comes the noises for next week's game. Sorry this one's kind of long, so hope you enjoy. Hope you don't enjoy brevity because this one ain't got it.
This podcast hasn't had it.
Yeah. Okay. Here comes next week's game. See y'all.